But saying yes to things like this, that helps you build community. That helps you like find the life that you want.
Yeah. Yeah. And getting out of your comfort zone. Yeah, getting out of your comfort zone. Exactly.
Yeah. All of that. So
you're doing it right now.
I'm doing it right now
already.
I'm doing it right now. But, to my 40s.
Hell yeah. Welcome, everyone. We are here in Tabernash, Colorado, up in the Rocky Mountains. This is the ADHD Adulting Fireside Chat, which is a unique opportunity for everyday ADHD adults to connect, share advice, and learn from one another how to thrive with this condition. Tonight's topic, New Year, New You, resolutions, routines, and relapse.
I'm Sam. I have ADHD. For fun, I go hiking. I do some outdoorsy stuff. Professionally, I'm in human resources. I work for a very large consulting firm in the Big Four, so it's a very large job.
So what age were you diagnosed?
I would have been diagnosed at 38. I am more of a daydreamer type. So I was always very successful in school, in life. I built my life pretty much from the ground up. I'm like very independent and very proud of my independence, which is a good or bad thing. So when I had the question asked by my psychiatrist, do you think you're ADHD? I was like, no, here's all these stereotypes that I don't necessarily fit. Right. And, started talking a little bit deeper about the issues that I was having and just mentioned that, this could be a possibility. I think if I were diagnosed earlier, I probably would have gotten through college a lot easier. For instance, it took me 10 years to graduate college. Granted, there was other things going on, but definitely flip-flopping in between majors and not being able to make like a really committed decision to what I wanted to do. So I kind of floated for a while. In high school, I probably could have paid more attention, but again, I was always very successful in academia. It just took me longer than other people. So it was never a really big red flag. And particular for women, it's not really a thing that's truly recognized. I think even today, it's not really easily recognized.
What is a goal that you have for yourself this year? And I want you guys to be specific here about a process, not an outcome goal, okay? So the difference is a lot of times people set outcome goals. I want to lose 50 pounds. I want to make X amount of money or have this promotion, or I want to, whatever it is. But it's the process goal is like, I want to go to the gym 3 times a week. I want to have a routine or a process that's going to get me to this goal, not the end.
So I'm turning 40 in a few months. Yeah, which is a big deal, I think, for the majority of us, but particularly for women, because there is a before 40 and an after 40 in our lives. My main goal for this year is to unabashedly find that life that I want. And that is a big goal, right? Big goal. Big goal. But it begins, I think, with community. And I have community now, but I can always build it and I can always connect the communities that I do have. I think being a woman, you have different expectations in society. You are taught by your parents, your church, your relatives, by society in general, movies, books, TV, all of that, that you are to be quiet, you are to be subservient, basically all of these like feminine type of traits that they're not the ADHD of the 90s where like you think hyperactive, young boy, can't pay attention, constantly getting into trouble, risky behavior. That's not necessarily how it shows up for many women. And it flies under the radar very much so, especially if you are being quiet, subservient, but you're daydreaming. You're not paying attention to the conversation or the lecture, or you're reading a book and your mind is somewhere else. While you're physically reading the words, nothing's sinking in though. and you have to reread and reread and reread. Like these types of things that are very quiet and internal, I think show up a lot more in women. That's kind of what I'm missing, is I have a lot of disparate communities that I regularly talk to, but not like this massive community that I want, you know? The process of doing that can be, it could be a lot of things, you know, hosting potlucks and that sort of thing, getting people together. But volunteer opportunities. I volunteered for a cat rescue / thrift store. Combined.
Cat, stop, let's go. Where are you from?
Yes.
No, this was in Denver.
I know. Denver. Cat rescue thrift stop. Oh, yeah.
All under one roof.
I love it.
Amazing. They did have to close down, unfortunately, but like great community there. So many volunteers that you can find. So, you know, things like that. Saying yes to something that I wouldn't normally say yes to, because after COVID, I got into my bubble and I like to sit on my couch and be cozy and watch TV and have the same routine every single night. But saying yes to things like this, you know, that helps you build community, that helps you like find the life that you want.
Yeah. Yeah, and getting out of your comfort zone. Exactly.
All of that. So
you're doing it right now.
I'm doing it right now
already.
I'm doing it right now, but you know, to my 40s.
Hell yeah.
What does adulting with ADHD look like for you?
A lot of coping strategies that I didn't know were coping strategies. Things like how I build my home, a lot of baskets filled with junk that I need, that I can grab very easily. I look organized. It's coping mechanisms, you know? So like really trying to find what works for you as an individual. I mean, I think that's neurodivergent or not, that's a very common thing, but particularly how ADHD shows up is in those coping strategies. How do I recognize this problem? How can I solve it in a way that works for me? You know, the reels that you see on Instagram or TikToks, they're not universal, and you can find something that really does work for you and work for you in the long term. I think self-expression is a really big deal for me. I've always been a little different, black sheep of my family type of thing. And I find a lot of pride in that. You know, there is a sense of creativity when you're like building yourself. And there are eras of the self that you can build and be creative within. You know, as far as like design and that sort of thing, you can hyper focus on things to improve them or make them more efficient. Those levels of creativity that aren't necessarily painting or photography, but there's a vein that runs through life that is creative in all kinds of different ways. I have a habit of lying to myself and telling myself it's self-care.
Okay. One more time.
I have a habit of lying to myself and telling myself that what I am doing is self-care.
Oh,
Example.
Justification and rationalization?
Example. Hannah and I were supposed to go get drinks 2 weeks ago or whatever.
Who knows, but we'll go. I believe.
I text like an hour before we're supposed to meet. I'm just like, not feeling it. Like, I blah, 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 this stuff. I'm overwhelmed. Can we reschedule? That's...
Did not reschedule.
We didn't reschedule.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So that habit of doing that specifically with like plans that I had made, it's like, oh, that's a problem for future me. Like that whole mentality, I need to cut that out. Because that is not bringing me the community that I want.
God, what a callback. So good. Okay, so let go lightly of this it sounds like a lengthy pattern of behavior. Avoidance.
It's totally avoidance for I don't even know why. I love Hannah. Yeah. I love hanging out with friends. But there's like post-COVID, there's this comfort to I want to be high on the couch watching YouTube with my dogs and my husband. And that like that's a wonderful thing to do. It sounds lovely. Not every single fucking day.
Right.
We need to live our lives.
You're fun, Devin, just not that fun.
He's
Not
so fun.
Every day.
He's so
every day.
fun, but
He's like, keep going. I like this.
I want
You're right back to Denver.
it's true.
But it's healthy.
On the front seat.
Okay, no, on a real level, like it is healthy. I think to have other outlets and expand our network, because it keeps the relationship fresh too, right? We can't just
Absolutely.
like stay there in one spot. No matter how much you love the person and want to spend time with them, right? You need to have those other outlets. And even if we're feeling exhausted and tired in the moment, it's like, how am I going to feel? How do I always feel after I hang out with this person?
That's the big one.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh, I don't want to fucking go, and then you're like, oh, I just had the
I
best
feel
time.
so much
Best
better.
time ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was gonna say something like joking direct to camera, but it's all of a sudden got more serious. No one is everyday fun.
I'm not.
That's so toxic. No one is fun every day. No one is fun every day. And like the idea that we'll be able to just loop that shit for 365? No, absolutely not. Yeah. I'm reminded by the Dr. Becky's out there. I keep singing her praise. I hope I get to meet you. But like she's famously said, like, sometimes I'm a shit parent. And like we need to say, like, sometimes I say the thing and I go, fuck, I didn't mean to say that to my kid, right? And then she has to go, I apologize. I lost my cool, right? But like, no one is fun every day. Cut that shit out. Yeah. So yeah, exactly. And to back to that point, I have 1,000 times been in the situation where I'm like, I'm just not feeling it. And excuse, but maybe I'm too late and like social standards are a thing. And I'm like, I can't cancel 5 minutes before they show up. And then that person shows up and they say, oh, it was such a blast. We were 3 hours. I can't believe I didn't tell you. Yeah. So,
Exactly.
So some process. What's the first good thing?
Like a habit.
The next good thing
behavioral habit.
to do?
The next good thing would be hanging out with Hannah.
Reschedule.
What are 3 strengths about your ADHD?
Hyperfocus. And my hyperfocus isn't necessarily that I have to be really deeply interested in it. I just have to be a little bit interested in it. I can go down rabbit holes and like build that interest as it goes. I think that has really served me very well. And I know a lot about various subjects because of that hyperfocus. So I think that's like a really big strength of mine, is being able to find that in a lot of different ways. My coping strategies, I think, are a really big strength. So again, I look organized. A lot of people think I'm organized, and I like that kind of organization, figuring out what works for me and works for my husband, Devin. Because he has ADHD too, how can we have these strategies that work for us? So having that kind of mind to be able to find things, it's really fun and fulfilling, actually, because it makes your life easier. I think there's a level of creativity in ADHD that pops up that maybe isn't the most common in neurotypicals. So I do feel like there's a creativity or a way that you're kind of on the fringe of society that makes you a little bit different. And you can approach things in a different way and because you've been dealing with it for so long, you have these like creative strengths in you that come out. Radical acceptance. That is a process. When I first was diagnosed with ADHD, I kind of had a freak out. And I can't really explain why. Again, my psychiatrist brought it up to me. I didn't bring it to them. So there was a little bit of a switch there that like, oh, I need to accept this about myself. But it's very much a process, right? Like in that process of accepting that I have this thing, there was a lot of like looking back in my past and going, oh, that makes sense. And it's kind of like, a lot of light bulb moments. So there was like this level of connecting to my past self about who I was at that time, what I was going through, why this was showing up. And that process leads into a level of acceptance. I think radical acceptance happens in multiple areas of your life. I'm not the same person I was yesterday, nor 10 years ago. So there's a level of acceptance that is a lifelong journey. It ebbs and flows, right? There are some days where I'm ADHD, this is great. Like I can hear all these strengths that I have. And then other days where it's like, oh gosh, I'm an idiot. I forgot about this and blah, blah, blah. I have this due, I'm overwhelmed. And my battery's drained, and it's not a linear process. 3 steps forward, 2 steps back, but it's still progress.